let's take a quick look at the first results that we have gotten from Alliance Insight over in OCG land, with the first metagame report of the new format, including Alliance Insight on Road of the King. It is notable or noteworthy that this is just showcasing the results of a bunch of tournaments over the very first weekend of the set's release. These tournaments happened on 25th to 26th January, and I'm pretty sure the set released on 25th of January. So it's like people literally getting their hands on the cards for the very first time, playing them in tournaments, and this is what we've got. And now the most notable thing is that we're going from a format that had, I think for the most part before this set, it was Orchest and Blue Eyes sharing the top spot alongside Maliss. And it is looking like from this breakdown of the very first weekend, Alliance Insight shockingly is supporting Maliss and Ryzeal back to the top. And notably, Maliss is taking up a quite significant chunk here, which to me is not really a surprise, because they've done something that I personally don't agree with, and that is also me being biased because I just don't like Maliss. But they've hit Ryzeal on the ban list relatively hard and left Maliss completely alone, even though the two decks were... I mean, at that point, Ryzeal was slightly more powerful than Maliss, but like, come on, these two decks are relatively close to each other in power level. And they've just hit Ryzeal way harder than Maliss. Alliance Insight helps both decks out a lot, so it's gonna, like, obviously make both decks a lot more viable, but Maliss is taking the bigger slice of the cake here. And Orchest and Blue Eyes are still doing fine. You know, these are fine numbers for the decks. They are falling off a little bit, at least at first glance. You know, in the first weekend, they've fallen off a little bit. Quite notable things here is, at least to me, noteworthy. White Forest, not as big as or maybe it could have been, because the new White Forest support is pretty damn powerful, but apparently not enough to make it top tier. At least, once again, grain of salt, very first impression. But it seems like Maliss and Ryzeal still have the upper hand, even though White Forest is currently the 5th most represented deck here, which is a decent turnout. And then you've got Crystron, you've got Gem Knights, and you've got Memento still doing fine. I feel like Memento is always showing up since it's reached a certain power level. They just like playing it. So we've got Maliss. Maliss has received several new support cards from Alliance Insight. Maliss March Hare, Malice in the Mirror are direct support, and Backup Ignister, Wizard Ignister, Echo Talker, Ad Ignister are generic Cyberse support. And you know how much I love that. Maliss here is a great addition to Maliss. Its first effect could special summon itself from hand by banishing another Maliss card from hand or graveyard. This gives Maliss an in-theme effect to banish their own Maliss monsters that also puts a body on the field similar to Bestial monsters. Maliss Hare's second effect can add a banished Maliss to hand when it's banished, and it could be used to add itself back to the hand, which makes it basically an extender for Dormouse and Malice in Underground. Malice in the Mirror is a new Malice spell card. I would be shocked if they play more than one copy of Malice in the Mirror. Honestly, I think in the long run, both Malice in the Mirror and Malice March Hare are going to be one-ofs, which, on the one hand, it could have been worse in terms of how powerful their support could have been, but it still is not, like, you can't really understate the importance of these cards, because yes, they're probably one-ofs in the long run, but they are highly searchable one-ofs. So that's... like, that doesn't necessarily mean they're not good cards. So, yeah. This is an option to add to hand with Malice Red Ransom. When hit by Lancea, the truth strength of Malice in the Mirror lies in the second effect. When a Malice monster is banished, it can banish a Malice card from the graveyard to add a Malice card of the same type from the deck. Previously, Malice in Underground would banish Red Ransom from the graveyard directly, but now Malice in Underground can banish Malice in the Mirror from the deck, which in turn banishes Malice Red Ransom from graveyard to add a Malice monster from deck to hand. Okay. Backup Ad Ignister, Wizard Ad Ignister, and Echo Talker Ad Ignister are new Ad Ignister support cards, but their effects functions with Dark Cyberse monsters, which allows them to synergize with Malice. Both backup and wizards first effects special summons themselves from hand when you control a Cyberse monster specials from the extra deck, allowing them to be extenders that would work even while under the effect of Artifact Lancia. Yeah, that's honestly music in my ears. Generic Cyberse support for link spamming that help you extend and also fix basically the only weakness of Maliss, which is Artifact Lancia. Wonderful. Love that for me. Great. Backup adds a Dark Cyberse monster from deck to hand, which can be a Maliss monster or wizard. Backup, being a Cyberse tuner monster, also allows it to be added by Cyberse Wicked. Great. Wizard effect special summons itself from hand and a Dark Cyberse from the graveyard, which can be a Maliss monster. Wonderful. Echo Talker is another option for the end board. Great, we needed that. Echo Talker special summons as many Cyberse monsters with 2300 attack from your graveyard, which would be Maliss Link monsters. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you want me to say. I hate this deck already. Like, I hate it in its current form already. The fact that it's getting stronger is just concerning. Nothing else. Yeah, I think people are currently blinded by the new toy syndrome with Maliss in the TCG. They enjoy it because I do think it's fun to play in its current iteration. The problem is with this support, it looks like it's just gonna turn into an unstoppable Cyberse combo slop. And I think people are gonna realize soon enough that this deck is a problem. But yeah, that's that. Ryzeal. Star Ryzeal is a new support card from Alliance Insight. When Star Ryzeal is special summoned, its second effect can set a Ryzeal spell trap from the deck. This is a great boost to Ryzeal as it provides an additional way to fetch Ryzeal Cross. As mentioned in the previous tournament report, Ryzeal relies heavily on having Ryzeal Cross to shuffle back X Ryzeal for the following turn. Yeah, this is this card, even though once again it is just a one-off, the Star Ryzeal, I think is a phenomenal support piece for Ryzeal, because it gives you another way to search Ryzeal Cross, because it gets a spell trap on summon, which is really neat, which means you no longer rely on resolving Duo Drive to access the field spell, because the field spell is a really good end board piece. And that's pretty neat. So obviously the thing about recycling X Ryzeal is a problem that we at the moment don't have in the TCG, so it remains to be seen how big that is, like how important it's going to be to have recycling for X Ryzeal. I could see this card being limited in the TCG as well, honestly. I think it's a good choice to do that. But just in general, having a Ryzeal that just searches you a spell trap in addition to what you already do is pretty good, especially because Ryzeal Cross is such a good card. So this is another pure Ryzeal approach, playing, I think, all the Charmies because of Maliss. I can hardly imagine main decking all the Charmies if you're expecting mostly Ryzeal mirrors. I think people would be playing other non-engine, but I think Maliss is a deck that forces people to just try to hand trap it to death, because otherwise you're just not winning the game. Other than that, I don't think there's anything crazy here. It's just you add one Star Ryzeal to the deck, which makes your combo stronger because you get the field spell pretty much guaranteed, even if they stop your Duo Drive. Everything else here is relatively standard. They are playing the 7th Tachyon, which is a card that obviously if we had it in the TCG, we would also play it in pure Ryzeal. But at the moment we do not. And that's it. Okay, I hate when this happens. I would love to know more about the state of Orcus, the state of Blue Eyes, or even the state of White Forest, like how people are playing the White Forest deck now with the new cards. But it's always like, if these decks are too dominant, it's just like they tell you, hey, look, Maliss got some new tools and is now absolutely broken. Ryzeal got a new tool and is also now pretty decent again. And then we reach the conclusion. Alliance Insight has quite an impact on the metagame. The themes from the deck build pack received a new wave of support cards, and that pushed Maliss and Ryzeal to the top of the format. And that's all we got. I don't know. Once again, I don't have beef with Ryzeal. I think especially pure Ryzeal is a deck that is fine. It's a fine modern Yu-Gi-Oh deck to exist. This, on the other hand, is... I'm not a fan of it, but we don't have to dwell on it for too long. We're gonna have to wait and see if this is something that remains like this, or if the other decks can catch back back up. We will see. Especially the White Forest decks, I had higher hopes in. I do think the White Forest support from Alliance Insight is phenomenal, but we're gonna have to see if those can catch up to Maliss. It's just, I think it's a matter of, if you're trying to play a combo deck, Maliss might just be the better one. And that is the OCG metagame right now. Honestly, scary. I am not looking forward to a world in which Maliss is so dominant. That is not something I wanna have, but it looks like that's what we're gonna get with Alliance Insight, unless they hit Maliss with a ban list until then.